Hey y'all, so today is Sunday, February 15th, and I'm not gonna come on camera in this video because I didn't tie my head up to get ready for bed. But I have been going through like an emotional transformation where I am learning to be okay with things I wouldn't normally be okay with. And an example of this would be okay, I'm going to use my ex for an example. He and I think on like completely different ends of the spectrum, opposite ends. And I've told you guys that I've been having some health issues, and I told y'all where I thought it stemmed from. It stemmed from me having sex with that man. And so there have been some issues with my health. And one end of the spectrum that I work out of is I like to plan. So I like to plan for things. So I'm gonna just use the example. I'm gonna just go ahead and use the example because I can't think of anything and I really don't want to be on here all night. I'm gonna think of the example. I told you guys I've had a pregnancy scare, and I told y'all I've still had things going on with my body. And so for me, as I've been planning like on a just in case type basis, my ex doesn't plan on a just in case type basis. He plans on, I have a solid answer today, and he moves off of that. Me, I plan before an answer has even gotten to me. And I know that part of that is like an anxious defense mechanism to kind of like prepare and keep myself from being hurt, to try to stop my heart from being broken, or try to stop myself from having hurt feelings and stuff like that. So I prepare and plan so that I'm not caught off guard with whatever happens. Now, is that how God works? No. It don't matter how much you prepare for the things that God is doing in your life. Sometimes you will never be prepared enough for what He is doing. You will never be prepared enough for what He is about to do in your life. Regardless of the things that you put in place, the room you make, the space you make for whatever, sometimes you could never be prepared. All right, that's how I operate though. My ex operates the exact opposite. He doesn't plan until he has a concrete, solidified, this is what it is type thing. Until then, it does not matter if he has knowledge of it. It does not matter if he knows that there's a possibility of it. He don't move off of possibility. He don't move off of maybe, maybe not. He moves off of this is what it is. All right, so we move on the opposite ends of the spectrum. And so one of the things that I have had to learn to do is not be so aggravated with him when I come to him with something and he moves out of that notion, right? It was a part of me that used to be so upset that he's not as prepared or as mentally and emotionally engaged in this situation as I am. And I'm learning, for one, his mental or emotional absence does not mean that he does not care about me or this situation, but he just moved off of, I need a concrete answer. I cannot allow myself to think that far ahead. I cannot allow myself to be opened up to anything that is not a concrete answer. That is how he moved, and I'm learning that. But I used to get so upset. And I used to, complain about that to him. And I used to be like, yo, like, I don't understand how you not moving like this, and you not talking like this, and you not doing X, Y, Z. And after, a couple different conversations, I had to accept that this is where he is. And so what that taught me about myself is my planning and my preparing phase of life. Sometimes it's a little It's just too far in advance. Like, that's not necessary. You have to wait and let God do what he's gonna do. A lot of times when we be planning and preparing, we be getting in front of God's way. We be in his way while he trying to move things around for us. We done got caught in the middle of it because we're trying to plan for something that we don't even know about. We're trying to move too far ahead. We're trying to move 5 steps ahead, and God has not even told us to move anywhere, but this is us trying to move out of preparation and stuff. And so, with that, as I learned to not, so let me move back. I tend to sometimes have an idealistic, very, very much visionary way of thinking about things. So when I plan for things, I plan for like the best case scenario that would make me the happiest. I don't plan for the worst case scenario. I plan for the best case scenario that's going to make me the happiest. My biggest dream, that's what I prepare for. And what I found is that I get really upset when things do not work out in that plan. That's not even a plan that God told me. That's a plan that I came up with myself. But I think that's how things should go. And because they don't go that way, I'm mad. I'm aggravated. I'm aggravated with everybody involved. And so as I've been learning not to be so idealistic about stuff, I don't want to say I've become pessimistic, but then I found myself preparing for the worst case scenario now. So I went from preparing for the best case scenario to preparing for the worst case scenario. Still preparing, still planning, still getting in God's way, but now I'm doing it in a different way. And so me preparing for the worst case scenario with what I have going on health wise, it has made me a little bit angry, a little bit frustrated, and just aggravated. Like, I just been aggravated. Again, I'm planning and preparing for something that has not happened yet. I have no clue what's going on or what God is going to do, but I'm preparing. I went from preparing and planning for the best case scenario to the worst case scenario. So now I'm mad. Before I was happy all day. Now I'm mad all day. Y'all, I'm so slow. So I'm finna get in my bed, and I just feel like a whole bunch of anger in my heart. And it's anger, but it's really confusion, and it's hurt. And it's coming out in anger, but it's really hurt. And, I was hurting because I'm like, God, this is not something that I would want to go through by myself. And I feel like you're making me go through this by myself again. So now I'm hurt. And I just feel led to open up my devotional. And I ended up reading the devotional for February 16th, and I realized afterwards that it's not February 16th, but it still applied. So I'm going to go ahead and read it to y'all, and then I'm going to read the one for February 15th too, because that still applies as well. So for February 16th, it's anger. And it says, refrain from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not yourself, it tends only to evil. That's Psalm 37 verse 8 in the ESV version. And it says, is it okay to be angry? Yes. Is it okay to be upset? Yep. Is it okay to be full of anger? No way. Is it okay for anger to dictate my emotions? Heck no. Is it okay to dwell in anger? Absolutely not. There's a difference between allowing yourself to be angry and dwelling in anger. When something terrible happens, it's okay to become angry. It's an emotion that's perfectly natural. Jesus became angry. God has been angry. It's okay. But when anger moves from a reaction to an emotion, dictating your actions and your moods, it's not okay. You cannot allow anger to rule in your heart. If anger dictates your actions, you are a nasty person, not someone anyone cares to be around. If anger rules in your heart, you are bitter and full of rage. Angry people spread their poison to anyone within earshot. They believe life is terrible and all hope is lost. Wanting revenge, they will do or say whatever they feel in the moment. Angry people don't care if or when they hurt other people's feelings because they themselves are hurt. Make sure you remain in God's peace, refusing to dwell in anger. How have you reacted lately in anger? Did you begin dwelling in anger? Don't let it dictate your actions or moods. Ask God to fill you with his peace instead. And it humbled me immediately. Immediately, I didn't even care that this is the devotional for tomorrow. It humbled me immediately because I realized I wasn't just angry. I was choosing to dwell in anger. I was choosing to live in anger because things were not going the way that I thought they should go. I don't feel like I have the support that I need. And I just feel like the whole process of what I'm going through is just so dumb and so annoying, right? So I had been living in anger. And then I look at the next page, and it's titled Confusion. And it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. That's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, New King James Version. It says, God surprised us with a gift, a baby, the promise of new life. I was anxious, then thrilled once the idea of being a mom settled into my mind. But 2 months later, poof, everything changed, and I found myself in a puddle of tears, longing for the baby I was beginning to know and love. Why, God? Simply why? Sometimes God allows things, and we cannot possibly figure out all the answers. Does God ever confuse you, leave you baffled, speechless, or do you make sense of everything he allows? I don't. I can't possibly make sense of some things. I'm left in a confused state until I decide to trust in God once again. And when we question, that's okay, as long as we again look back, reminding ourselves of his faithfulness and his goodness. I have learned a few things though. He showed me unconditional love. He showered me with love from my family, friends, and precious husband who has the patience of Job. God reminded me how he is ultimately in control, and he reminded me not to worry because he's got this. He's got everything. He knows the beginning of my story and the end. My entire life is in his hands, and he's got yours too. Your life is precious to him, and he loves you more than you could possibly imagine. Trust him with your entire being. Trust him like your life depends on it, because it does. Do you have questions for God? That's okay. Keep trusting him for everything because he has you in the palm of his hand. And that brought me a little bit of peace. I think for me, I don't know if I will ever know how to trust God enough to not prepare for stuff. Right? I don't know if I will ever do that. I would like to. I would like to not, because the thing about it, when you are preparing and planning beforehand, you've added extra responsibilities to your plate that you don't even have to take care of. This is not even what you're supposed to be doing. You already overwhelmed with your current life, yet you have added 4 more tasks to your plate because you're trying to prepare for the best case or the worst case scenario of this situation that you're wanting. You're trying to make sure your heart is mentally, your mind is in the right space, your heart is in the right space. You're trying to make sure that your feelings don't be hurt, that you are braced for impact. So if it do hurt your feelings, you could stand up, chin out, chest out, and you'll be good. You're trying to prepare for all of that. And the reality is, there's almost things you can never plan for when it comes to God and when it comes to how God does things. This thing that I am going through right now, I've never experienced anything like this before. There's nothing that could have prepared me to go through something like this, and definitely not in a place where I don't have no family or friends or support. There's nothing that could have prepared me for this. And I just think that so much of my life has been like that. Like, I got to think about it. Nothing prepared me to quit my job in 2022 when I quit. Nothing prepared me for getting laid off when I got laid off in 2024. Nothing prepared me for moving to a whole nother state. I was never prepared for any of the things that God brought into my life. Nothing prepared me for the promise that God placed in my life of me marrying my best friend. And nothing prepared me for the day that God was going to tell me to walk away from him. There's nothing in my life that God has that has happened that I have been prepared for. These are not things that God is sending me like warning signs about beforehand, and so I know to brace myself for impact. The only thing that I probably knew to brace myself for impact for was when I quit. And that's because God had told me 2 weeks before I had actually quit. And then it came back around, and then I knew, like, okay, so he's telling me to quit for real. outside of that, I mean, nothing even prepared me for the first time he told me to quit before those 2 weeks. So I haven't been prepared for the things that God has asked me to do. I just did them. And I did them scared. I did them frustrated. I did them confused. I did them angry sometimes. But I just did them. And so I think the message that God wants me to put out is that, you know, when things don't pan out the way that you want them to, when life doesn't look the way that you thought it was going to look, when you realize you are about to walk into a whole new avenue that you've never had experience with, that you don't even know how to prepare yourself for, God is saying to continue looking to Him and trusting in Him and leaning on Him. He's also encouraging you not to try to prepare for your best case or your worst case scenario. You cannot prepare for them because God can do exceedingly and abundantly more than you could ever ask or think or imagine. So you could prepare for your best case scenario and still not be prepared for what God wanted to do for you. And you could be prepared for your worst case scenario and still not be prepared for what God wanted you to do or what God wanted you to go through. Don't waste so much time trying to prepare for something that you don't even know about, that you just don't have the capacity to know about. You can't know about it. God says in Isaiah chapter 55, verse 8 through 9, that God's thoughts are greater than our thoughts. And His ways are greater than our ways. It's nothing alike. God says in, I think it's 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9, no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no heart or mind has imagined what God can do for those that He loves. Like, I don't know if y'all like me, but don't be like me. Don't be like me, y'all, because being like me is not a good place to be, because I'm either preparing for my best case scenario and then being upset when my expectations are not met, or I'm preparing for my worst case scenario and then I'm pissed off because why is this happening to me? Why does my life have to look like this whole time? This is an imagined thing. It has not even happened. I'm not even mad at something that has happened. I'm mad at something that I have thought was going to happen. And so I'm trying to prepare myself for it, but it hasn't even happened. Don't be like me, y'all. I am slow. I'm a little slow, y'all. I have this motivation app on my phone, and this thing came in earlier when I was stressing. It says, align yourself with the flow of your life. Enjoy everything that comes and release what leaves. And I half the time can't enjoy what's coming because I'm trying to prepare for what's leaving. And I can't even be grateful for the things that leave because I'm too focused on why it's leaving and what's going to come next. What's coming to replace this thing that's leaving. My mind is constantly in a toil and it's like a wheel. It's like a hamster on a wheel. And I'm constantly worried about something. And my ex is always telling me, just relax. Like, you thinking too much, you moving too much, you doing too much. Relax. Don't think about tomorrow. Relax. Just chilling today. And I get it. And it's like, it's a part of me just like, I wish I could take on that mindset. I wish I could take that on. But y'all, that junk is hard. It is hard. And I'm going to come back and talk about that more because I'm not the only woman that feels like that. Like, if you ever look at things on movies or TVs or even the people that you know in real life, the men be chill. Now, they might not be chill internally, but they don't let anxiety show. It be the women running around trying to make sure everything is handled, trying to make sure doctor's appointments is made, and little Junior went to baseball practice, and I have to say little Celery, little Sarah done went to ballet, and we done took the dog to the groomer, and we done sent your mom to get, like, it's always the woman that's worried about that type of stuff, and she never rests. A woman is never rested. Even when she's sleeping, her mind is going. I wanted to talk to us women about that because, yo, when you have that, when you finally get like that, it is so hard to undo that. It is so hard to be a woman who is chill. And then when you talk about letting a man come into your life and try to take care of the business where he take 20 things off your plate, it's still hard because now you like micromanaging that man. Is he doing it the right way? I wouldn't do it like that, so why would you do it like this? Do it like this. You should have did this like this. You should have been there at this time. You should have. Now we micromanaging the man doing it. So now we done added a whole other responsibility to our plate because now we want to check over his work and make sure he's doing things the way that we want to do them. It's a control thing, ladies. It is control. Even everything that I'm doing now when I'm preparing for the best case and worst case scenario, it is control. I am trying to have my hand in control of something that I don't have no hand in it. I'm literally just a participant half the time, not even willingly. Majority of the time, I'm not even a willing participant. It's just happening and I'm just going with it. I'm going to record my video. I'm going to come on camera for that one. So I don't know when that's going to be. But I really want to encourage everybody. And you know what? There might be men who have this anxiety too. Us women, we just don't see it. So let's not act like, we can't diminish the fact that men are human too and they have the same emotions that we do. We just don't see theirs. Men have anxiety too. So this is a video for men too who may be dealing with anxiety and your mind is racing and you can't quiet your mind and you're trying to prepare for the best case and worst case scenario. And you're trying to prepare for if this doesn't work out, then I need to go this route and XYZ. Listen, God is really trying to get the attention of his children. God is really trying to get us to live at peace, in peace, with peace, for peace, on peace, under peace, beside peace. Like, God wants us to be one with peace. I've been said this a long time ago. It is not it's not his plan for his children to be down here stressing about everything. We do it, but that's not his plan. We don't know what the final outcome of his plan is, but Jeremiah 29:11 says he plans good things for us. And I know that that's the kind of God he is. I don't know. That's how I don't know why I begin so stressed, but because I know he's the type of God who plans good things for his children. So, yeah, I just want to encourage whoever may need that. Yeah. I love you guys, and I will see you on my next video.